Jacqueline from New York.
Yes, it's my granddaughter who is slapping or hitting her mother.
She's slap happy. She is slap happy. Okay, what you tell your daughter to make that little girl write an essay of apology and say she's sorry. No?
Well, I told her to sit in the chair and hold her for like a minute or a minute and a half. And she said she has, and she either laughs hysterically or she cries hysterically.
Okay.
And then I suggested, well, when she's done, either one, to say that, that hurt Mommy, it wasn't nice, and please say you're sorry, and then all is well. And she said that she has read the latest journals of something. She's in the science medical field, and she said that they say that a child of 22 months, they do not understand what it means to be sorry or to say they're sorry, and so therefore you would never make them say.
Oh, there it is. Oh, no, psychological mistake. Because Jacqueline's daughter read where you don't do that because the children don't know what sorry means. They have no idea. And really, using that kind of rationale, sorry really shouldn't be asked of a child till they're 6, 7, 8, 9 years old. And I know some adults who don't know what sorry means. So I guess really you shouldn't say sorry unless you really know or you really feel it. What do you think there, Jacqueline?
Well,
is that nonsense or what?
Yes, I feel it is. If she knows enough to hit her and think it's either there's something wrong with it, either she's laughing or crying, or she knows she's getting a reaction out of her mom, then she knows there's something's happening there. So, why
does her mom put her face close enough to let the child lash out?
Well, she's loving her.
Oh, okay, so the kid's being cute. Get your face in close. I'm like a cottonmouth moccasin. I'll just smack you. Okay. Well, first of all, let's take this from what she's going to do about it. I like the fact that she sits her somewhere. Okay, if A, then B. You do this, I'm going to sit you somewhere, and I'm going to show you this is not right. Don't do it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the idea that she's saying, this is kind of interesting, because I find this as an irony. Your daughter read that article that basically said, no, don't make her say I'm sorry because she just doesn't understand it. She doesn't feel it. She doesn't know it. You can't do that. Of course, I would raise the question, well, when do you think she will feel it and know it? Are you going to take a guess? Are you going to say, well, maybe 4, maybe 6, maybe 8? Okay, that's the first thing. But here's the irony. Mm-hmm. The article probably, or if that article didn't, other articles that your daughter read probably said, let the child know that hurt Mommy. Mommy doesn't like that. Mommy feels bad. Wait a minute. You're asking the child to understand those feelings. She can't. Remember, you just said she can't understand being sorry. How's she going to understand you feeling bad? Nonetheless, let's go a little further. Yes, I agree. Little 22-month-old does not have any concept of I'm sorry. And we can take it a step further here, Jacqueline. She doesn't have a concept of please. She doesn't have a concept of thank you. She doesn't have a concept of excuse me. She doesn't have any of those concepts. That's exactly right. But what you're doing is you're just simply laying in a habit. If you want to call it a rote habit, go ahead. But you're laying in a habit that the child is learning. Somehow I have to say those words when I do that action, and then over time it is easier to attach some kind of emotion to the words. I had a couple directions to go on that one. I was going to go on the complete unacceptability of a child hitting a parent. And interestingly enough, the kid at age 2.5 doesn't know what she's doing. She's responding. It's reflex, whatever. Smacks her mom, and so what? She sits for a minute or two. Oh, your mother's face is worth a minute or two. That's the first thing. But everything that Jacqueline was telling me led me to believe that Mom, being an educated type, was a reader. And she wanted to do it right, psychologically correct, the new and enlightened parental way. So it didn't take her long to come across an expert's theory, and that's all it is. It's a theory. It's an idea. It's not anything that has much research behind it that says, don't make a kid say, I'm sorry. They don't understand it. At one level, that's true. They don't. But for those of us who believe in infant baptism, one of the arguments where I was in the evangelical church was that you don't baptize a baby. Why? Because they don't understand. They don't know what you're doing because they need to be old enough to make a confession of faith. A pastor friend of mine said, who of us really understands accepting Jesus Christ? We do it. We welcome Him in. But the implications of all that, far, far beyond our understanding. So, essentially, you better not really baptize a baby, too, because according to the child development people, a baby doesn't really understand, the whole idea of religion, whole idea of washing clean of sin, whole idea of becoming a child in the family of God. That's all. It's great. Come on. For heaven's sakes, it's not even a 2-year-old. It's an infant. But I digress. Parents will say to me, you think he understands what he's doing? And I will say, I don't know. That'll be $80, please. Much of what kids do, especially the younger ones, they don't understand. They don't understand why it's wrong. Or if they do, they have just kind of a basic sense of why it's not good to do it. You don't do it because you're going to get in trouble. 4 years old, they're going to make you sit somewhere. You really have no idea why you shouldn't have used that word. And most parents, if they waited until a child understood. Now, again, that's always hard to discern. What is understanding? The philosophers argue about that one. But let's just even say semi-understand. If the parent waits until a child semi-understands what he or she did wrong, well, you're going to lose a lot of discipline time. This kid could be 5, 6, 7 years old before you finally start to do something. So this little girl, when will she ever have to say, I'm sorry for something? Once she's learned the words, once she has come to link a certain expression with certain kinds of wrong behavior, it is then easier for her to incorporate the feeling with the words. She's already got the words down pat. If you wait for some kind of feeling, as an aside, I have heard child development people say, you don't make a child share. How would you like it if I went into your closet and I made you share with your cousin? You wouldn't like it. You don't make a child share. If they don't want to share, they don't have the feeling of charity, and you're just forcing a feeling that's not there. I've heard that. To which I can only respond, some ideas are so dumb, only intellectual types could actually believe them. There is so much that kids don't understand. I use this analogy. We have a second dog. Got her as a 6-month-old puppy. Now, she has no idea that she's not supposed to use our house as her bathroom. She doesn't understand that. And neither does the 8-year-old dog that we have. However, we train them to use the outside as the bathroom. Now, that's easy. Little boys can do that. The world is a little boy's bathroom. Do these dogs understand why they shouldn't use our house as their commode? No, not at all. Should we wait until they understand it? I probably wouldn't have too many visitors. I mean, our house would kind of smell like it did when we had the kids at home. We trained them. The training took place. Now, the dogs are never going to understand because they don't have the cognitive ability. But when you train a little kid, he's going to come to understand. That's the natural course of cognition. They develop a deeper understanding. By the time they're 9, you don't hit people because that's wrong. When they're 5, you don't hit people because you're going to get in trouble. And when they're 2, you don't hit people because, well, Mom does this. She puts you over there. And I don't know why that is. I can't understand the relationship between I slapped her in the face and I'm sitting on a step. That's okay. It's the beginning of the process. Classic example of a well-intentioned parent trying to do everything psychologically correctly that is reading something, and I'll tell you how many parents I deal with in my office who are not enjoying their child because they've tried so hard to follow all the new trendy psychological theories, and the wisdom of the ages have gotten pushed aside in our new enlightenment, and the kids are just not pleasant to be around.